Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
A while back, I challenged you to make something out of sweet sorghum syrup that I got at Cane Hill, Arkansas. And I showed the video of them actually harvesting the cane syrup, you know, the sorghum cane syrup, squeezing it with using a mule.
If you've ever been squeezed by a mule.
And they run it down the hill to the pan where they cook like, you know, most of the water out, and then you get this drippy, sticky, you know, molassesy type stuff that's just delicious on pancakes or biscuits or whatever you want to eat with it. And I said, of course, I can make a beer out of that.
Right.
And so I made a Belgian style or Belgian inspired ale with it.
Which was delicious.
Well, thank you very much. And I challenged you to do something with it, and you took another direction entirely.
I made a mead. So I made sorghum, molasses. Well, it's not really molasses. We haven't decided what it is.
Some people call it molasses.
I always call it molasses, but I don't think that's right.
It's just sorghum. Some people call it sorghum. Some people, it's sweet sorghum syrup. Sweet sorghum syrup. Whatever you call it.
It's whipped beautifully in here. So I did honey and sorghum and orange extract.
Ooh.
So let's pour and I'll talk.
All right.
I'll pour and I'll talk.
Maybe you should have delegated.
You were supposed to pour, but I'm so used to pouring.
You're a control freak.
I can't help it. So first, let's take a taste. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's very pretty.
Mmm. Mmm. Oh my.
That'll make you happy.
Oh, that is so good.
It'll give you a happy.
Oh my. Wow. Okay.
So here's what it is.
We're in suspense.
Yeah, here's what it is.
Tell them how to make this.
So
awesome.
I do want to say that I'm going to post this recipe on my store website.
Okay. Steve's Brew Shop.
StevesBrewShop.com. So you can go there and you'll find the recipe. So that'll be good. And I might even shoot a little video of making it one of these days.
Ooh.
But the recipe is 20 ounces of local wildflower honey. So a good light honey, not a real dark honey, a light honey. And the better the honey you can get in your mead, the better your mead will be.
Right.
16 ounces of Cane Hill sorghum. 32 ounces of German acacia honey.
Mm.
So if you can't get the acacia honey, that's okay. It's just I happen to have a 32-ounce container of acacia honey from Germany. It's very light honey. It's the lightest honey the honey can be. But so if you can get acacia honey, great. If you can't get it, just use, you know, 52 ounces of honey altogether. And then I added 4 ounces of orange extract from my shop. I sell these little extracts, which you've been playing with a little bit too. So I used 4 ounces of the orange extract. I put all of that together into about a gallon of water that was warm, tepid, about 90 degrees. And the idea is that you just want the honey to incorporate well, to not just kind of glop at the bottom. If it's cold, it can't disperse. So I put all of that together. And then, what else did I do? Then, when it got down to about 80 degrees, I actually pitched it fairly warm, about 80 degrees, 78 to 80 degrees. I pitched the SO4, so the same yeast that you used in your coffee porter.
Right.
Yes, I used the SO4. It was at 1061 original gravity. Oh, by the way, now I say I used about a gallon and a half of water to mix it up in, but then when I put it into the fermenter, I topped it up to the 2.5 gallon mark. So when I'm doing extract beers or meads like this, I don't put the full volume all at once. I make a pre-volume amount, a smaller amount, and then I top it up. That way I get the exact amount of liquid that I want, and I'm not going, oh, Jesus Christ, what am I going to do with this extra half a gallon that I miscalculated? So at any rate, I topped up to the 2.5 gallons. It's a 1061 original gravity. It finished at 1009. It's a 6.81% mead. I did stabilize it with a little cocktail of potassium sorbate and Camden tablets.
Okay.
And so that stabilizes the mead. That way it can't reignite, it can't come back to life at a later date and become something that blows up your bottles. I also used a clarifying agent or a fining agent. I used a product called Dual Fine, which I sell, by the way. But Dual Fine is nice. It's a clarifier that works quickly. You use it at the end, and it's a two-stage process. You use one liquid first, and you let it sit for about an hour. Then you use the second packet. You let both of those stir up just real gently. You just stir it in. You leave your mead or your wine or your beer alone for a couple of days. About 24 hours is all it really needs, but the package will tell you 48 hours. I think I probably left it for 3 or 4 days, to be honest with you. But that really clears it. It really just drops everything out of there and it just sparkles like crazy.
No sediment in the bottle
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it's just absolutely beautiful. And then I racked it off and bottled it with a gravity-fed bottling system like I use.
Talk about back sweetening. Did you back sweeten it?
I did back sweeten it. So after I stabilized it with the Camden tablet and the potassium sorbate, I let it set for about 12 hours. And I added after the 12 hours, I did the back sweetening of the honey. Then I did the clarifying agent. So I got out of order a little bit.
Okay.
So I clarified it last. The last thing I did was clarify it before I racked it into the bottling bucket and then bottled it. So that I dropped all the sediment out. So it was back sweetened, and it was back sweetened with 28 ounces of more wildflower honey and 2 more ounces of sorghum.
Ah,
Which
okay.
I just happened to have left in the bottle. So it was kind of an accident. So when I made it, the bottle just wouldn't drain completely.
Right.
And so
It's
I
thick stuff.
put the lid back on and set it down. Well, heck, there was that much left in the bottle.
Yeah.
So about 2 ounces. And so I said, well, I'm going to use this in back sweetening rather than put it in my coffee or something.
Well, that explains. It's kind of like, it's very complex. It's very well made. It's kind of like a musical chord because you got the little high notes, which I think is probably the orange flavor in there. But then you've got this like bass note of this sort of residual sweetness, this little bit of darkness that has to be from the sweet sorghum syrup. So it's very well balanced. It's just the right amount of sweetness for me because I don't like a mead that's too sweet. It's not boozy at all. It's a fairly low gravity or low alcohol mead, which is great. The SO4, which is an English yeast, did a great job on this, and it's just delicious. You must have given it enough nutrient at the beginning of the fermentation for the yeast to be happy, because there's no fermentation defects in this at all.
Yeah, I did. I gave it a tablespoon of yeast nutrient. I'm not sure if I mentioned that up front, but it has a tablespoon of yeast nutrient, which I put in at pitching. I didn't add any other nutrient additions along the way, just the one. And I actually made it on I didn't. I made it on February the 28th. Yeah. And so we're drinking it now in early May.
And it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's done. Yeah, it's ready to drink. It's not going to, I don't know. I say it's not going to get any better. I'll save a bottle for a year and we'll see what it tastes like. I think that the sorghum is not as pronounced as I expected it to be. And the orange it doesn't dominate it, but I get more orange than I do sorghum.
I'm getting some flowers in there too, some floral notes from the honey as well. And what is acacia? What is that? A tree? Is it a flower?
We call it black locust.
Ooh, okay. Do we have that around here?
Yeah, if someone will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, but it's the flower. It's those thorn trees. They've got the big long.
Okay.
Take a tire out, thorns.
Don't drive in the trees.
Well, I've got those on my property, and they would get about this big, and if you ran over one with your lawnmower, it's like there goes the tires in the mower. So
better to leave.
That's what I think the acacia tree is, and I say that because I looked it up on the Google one time, and it said black locust, and that's what we call black locust around here.
Wow,
good.
It's so good. I think you win the sorghum challenge because I like my beer. But boy, this is just well crafted. You're a darn good mead maker.
Well, thank you.
And there are a couple more. This is the second of 3 shows that we're shooting today. The third one that we're going to shoot, you have 2 more honey beverages that we're going to put on your channel.
That's right.
Your Steve's Brew Shop channel. So if you're in YouTube, go to YouTube and search for Steve's Brew Shop. Find Steve's channel and then look on there and I might be able to put a link.
Yeah, we can.
However this works to
Cross-link.
the other video. But man,
glad you like it.
follow Steve's recipe, follow Steve's advice on making mead, and you can't go wrong because this stuff is awesome. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, James.
Happy brewing.
Happy amazing. Amazing?
It's amazing.
I think it is. I think the word would be amazing. If you're a mazer, you maze. So happy amazing.
Amazing. Come and visit us online. At basicbrewing.com, you can find archive lists of our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs and our Brewer's Logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer. If you're in Fayetteville, Arkansas, stop by Steve's Brew Shop or find him online at stevesbrewshop.com. Show number 2. We'll be like Lucy in the Chocolate Factory here.
That's right. Slide them right on out.
Great.